everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am going to be making a sausage and mushroom ragu, and I'm going to be serving it with some polenta. This is something that I'm testing out. Actually, I haven't made it yet, but I did kind of take a look and see what I had in the kitchen and kind of made some notes. So I am going to be showing you what I use. I might throw in one extra ingredient along the way. If I do, you're gonna have to check out the description box for the full recipe. But as I think about the flavor that I want and how I want it to come together, I think everything will work. It's a warm day to do this, but it is supposed to rain later on this week, so hopefully I'll have this video up by then. Okay, for my ingredients, I'm going to be using about 12 ounces of chopped mushroom. Here I have a mix of button and cremini. I do have a few Italian sausages that I still have to take out of its casing. You can use whatever type of sausage you'd like. I'm using sweet Italian pork sausage, but you can do chicken, turkey. If there's something else that you would prefer, go ahead and use it. I have one whole shallot, so those two pieces are actually one whole one. I have one carrot and one celery that I finely diced. I'm going to be using some fresh thyme as well as a bay leaf and a couple of garlic cloves. And then to sauce it up, I'm going to be using chicken broth and Marsala. If you don't have Marsala, you can just use the chicken broth, but if you do have Marsala wine just kind of stuck in your pantry and you never know what to do with it, it's time to pull it out and use it. And then for my polenta, I have my polenta grits. I have some milk, so I'm going to be cooking it with milk and water, and then I'm going to add a pinch of nutmeg as well as salt and pepper, of course, and I have a little bit of cheese as well as parsley to finish it off. And as usual, I will be using olive oil, salt, and pepper. So to my pan, I've added a bit of olive oil so that the bottom is covered, and I'm going to go ahead and add my shallot, carrot, and celery. And I'm going to saute this for a couple minutes. I have also added a pinch of salt. And then I'm going to add my garlic to this. I've added my garlic, and as you can tell, this is almost all the same size. I do want all of this to be diced pretty fine. I want it to kind of be in the background of the sauce, but I don't want to grate it or do anything silly like that. I want them chopped really fine. This way they kind of permeate through the sauce. And then I'm going to add my pork sausage. So I've taken the casings off of these, and I just want to start getting these cooked and browned and broken up. So with the spatula, you know, just much like ground meat, you just want to break this up, get this browned and rendered, and I'm just letting my vegetables hang off to the side. The sausage is already seasoned, so I'm not going to add anything else to this as it's cooking. However, what I did do, since I left my vegetables in the pot, on my burner I kind of shifted the pot to one side so that the vegetables aren't completely over the flame, and this will just, you know, keep them warm as I work with the sausage, and then I'll start incorporating everything together. So I've gone ahead and mixed this all together. I still want the sausage to brown a little bit, so I'm going to continue to cook this for a few minutes or so, and then just, you know, continue to kind of break it down into smaller pieces. This sausage is quite lean. There's not a lot of fat on the bottom of my pan, so I'm just going to leave it as is. I'm not going to add any, you know, extra oil at this point, or butter, or any other type of fat. I'm just going to let this cook, and then I'm going to add the mushroom. Okay, and this is looking good. The pork is changing color. I have some bits stuck to the bottom of the pan as well, which I will get to in a few minutes, but I want to add my mushroom as well as my herbs, so my bay leaf and the thyme. And then I'm going to add another pinch of salt to the mushroom and stir it around, and I do want this to the point where it's browning. Okay, so this is looking good. The mushrooms are cooked down. There's been additional color to the meat, and I want to add some Marsala. So I'm probably going to go with about half a cup. And I'll stir this around first, kind of lift up the bits that are stuck to the bottom of the pan. Maybe add just slightly more. And then I'll give this, half a minute or so, and then I'll add my chicken broth. Okay. Now that that's kind of soaking into the meat and mushroom, or sausage and mushroom, I'm going to add my chicken stock. If I feel, that this might be too little, I do have some hot water as well. I did add a little bit of water, just a little. This is pretty even with the top of my mixture, so I'm going to let this cook. It will reduce, and it is a good time to check for seasoning. If you want to add any more salt, pepper, etc., go ahead and do that. If you want to add another sprig of thyme, you can do that. But I'm just going to let this kind of do its thing. Probably cook it for at least 30 minutes, probably longer. One other thing that I do want to add is a touch of cream. You're not going to need a lot, like maybe a tablespoon, and this is just going to enrich the sauce. Kind of like, bolognese sauce, just enrich it a little bit. And now I'm going to just let this simmer. So I have my water and my milk that is going to be coming up to a simmer, and I've added a pinch of salt. I also want to add a pinch of nutmeg. And as this comes up to a simmer, I'm going to add my grits. And I'm going to be using a whisk for this. And then this I'll be cooking for about a half an hour. Okay, so this has been cooking for about 10 minutes. It's not done yet. I am going to keep this going for a little while, and then towards the end I will be adding a little bit of cheese in, just to make it a little bit cheesy, as well as chopped parsley. And then this is my ragu, just, still cooking in the back, and it's looking really good. I tasted it. It is really, really tasty. So I'm going to be looking forward to this tonight. This can freeze really well, so you can make a batch and then portion it out and put some in the freezer. I'm going to still let this cook though and let it kind of thicken up. And as I'm stirring this is a good consistency. I ended up adding just a little bit of hot water to make it a little bit looser, because as this continues to cook, it will thicken up. When I add the cheese, it will thicken up as well. You do want to stir this frequently, because if you feel that your polenta is too thick, you can add a little bit of water. I would suggest maybe a tablespoon at a time, and then just kind of whisking it in slowly, because what will happen is the water will sit on the top. So once you start whisking, it'll just splash in your face. But You can add additional water to get the consistency that you want. I don't want this so thick, and nor do I want this running off my plate. I just kind of want it like a hot cereal, which this is. This is almost done. I will be adding some parsley and cheese in about a minute. My favorite move when you're doing something like this, I actually will put my handle of my whisk in the palm of my hand, and this is going to be hard because I'm doing this one-handed, and then kind of push into the corner of your pan, and that will scrape up everything that may be stuck. You don't want that. That'll create lumps, so this kind of helps to break those lumps up. This is a mix of Parmesan and grated mozzarella. I've gone ahead and turned my heat off, and then you just want to incorporate this really nicely. This is when it will thicken up for sure. And as I'm mixing, I did taste it for seasoning, and so I went ahead and added a pinch of salt and some cracked black pepper, and this is ready. And so this is after a good hour. It looks so good. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is good. It's thickened up, and you don't want this to be like too soupy, but this is really good. So this is the finished plate, and I am going to taste test this. Okay, so when I taste test things, I like to get everything in one bite. Okay, this is a winner. This is super delicious. I might like this more than the bolognese sauce that I did. Not an everyday thing, of course, but if the weather is colder, and like I said, we're supposed to be getting rain, this is something that would be good to make because it does make your kitchen a bit warm. So this would definitely qualify as quarantine cooking. You can kind of take your time with it, pour a glass of wine, do your thing. So you can also play with the proportions of this recipe. If you want to just use maybe one Italian sausage just to kind of get that flavor, and then mostly mushrooms, you can do that, and that would be a really great idea, actually. You can also start this off with maybe a piece of pancetta. I tried passing by the Italian deli today, but sadly they are closed until further notice. Thank you so much for watching. I will have a detailed recipe down below if you'd like to try it out. If you do try it out, let me know what you think. Please remember to like and subscribe to my channel, and I may be doing something in the near future, something special actually, so I will keep you posted on that. I will see you next time. Bye. Dang, this is really good. I don't know if there will be enough for the freezer, but we'll see.